Good afternoon, you crazy metalheads and rockers in this crazy world. As I keep on telling you, only you can do something about it to make it positive. Hope you're keeping your horns up for metal and rock and whatever genre of music you enjoy listening to. I'm Al Din. I'm with Underground Noise Webzine. Today is Webisode number 97. I've got the pleasure of interviewing Andy from the band called Deimos Dawn. They're a thrash metal band out of Germany. Welcome, Andy. How you doing?
Good, thank you, Al. Nice to have me on the show. I'm really happy to be here, and yeah, thanks.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for giving me a portion of your time today. You're my first interview for the month of May, so
Oh, that's a pleasure. Cool, great.
absolutely, man. I'm honored as well. So, first question I would like to ask you, Andy, is who came up with a band named Deimos Dawn?
It was me actually, and we have a little bit. I'm thinking around the topic of state of the world and how this all the fucking human shit comes to an end, and so we want to have something like an end game name. And Deimos, it's not actually the moon around the planet Mars. It's original in Latin, the word for terror, let's say. So it's the rise of terror or dawn of terror, and we wanted to have a more lyrical uh, approach, let's say, and that's why it's Deimos Dawn. So at the end, so yeah, that was the idea behind. And actually, there was no other. We don't playing with names around, so it came relatively strictly to exactly that one.
That's really cool. I was listening to your album before I started this interview called Anthem of the Lost, which I'm really impressed by. I give you guys 10 horns.
Oh, hey, thanks, man. Cool, great.
What was your favorite thing from that album? Was it the production, the artwork?
Of course, we wanted to have the complete story, and everything counts in. So also the artwork should be about the topic of kind of Mad Max game. You can say how what will happen to humanity in future, and but all the things were really important. So the sound of the album, we have. Of course, we have that old school thrash metal roots, that background every one of us has, also death metal shit and all that type of stuff. But we want to create something with that background, but not repeating something. But we want to have a really great sounding record. We want to have fast song, and it's our interpretation how thrash metal should be today for us, but with that background of the old school stuff. So, but actually everything should come together to a point, and that's music as well as lyrics and cover artwork and all that stuff.
Yeah, I listened to it. It's a real fierce and brutal album. It rips my face off. I've listened to it like 5 times.
It was a target.
Yeah, the song called Feeding the Decline is the one that I was listening to the most, and also The Final Illusion, which happened to be my two favorites off the album.
I can understand that. Feeding the Decline was the last song I wrote for the record. It was quite close before we started the production. And this is also for me the conclusion of what is what thrash metal should be. So that it's all in that sound. I wouldn't like to have 12 times the same on the record, but if everything on what is thrash metal comes together, then for me, not for everyone, of course, but for me, then that's Feeding the Decline. So that's that fast thrash with that double bass chorus. So this is how that's for me the incarnation of thrash metal. And of course all my roots from Slayer and Sepultura and all that kind of stuff that goes into that went into that song. But also, as you said, Final Illusion, that's the other side of it. So there's more, maybe a bit of death metal parts in it, but also that melodic stuff in the chorus, it's also important. And what also Mark can do very good with his voice, that he's not only has that death metal shouting where he's very famous for, that he also can do all these more melodic voice hooks, let's say, in that field of thrash metal. And that comes really good out in that Final Illusion song. Yeah. So I think maybe that's also my two favorites. So maybe among all the other favorites I have.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that as well, because those two songs really stood out to be a big slap in the face. You know, they're short, sick, straight to the point, and they totally make sense. I can hear every lyric, every vocal, everything in your band. It's that clear, you know. It's just like some bands, they have sounds that are like muffled and it sounds kind of muddy and kind of like sludgy, kind of like, and it's like, what is that? Is that cloud protection or something?
This is one important really point. What was really important for me. Everything what you hear is, you can hear what it is. So there is no artificial stuff on it. So what for me is the most important thing, where everything starts with, that's the drumming. And Matthias, our drummer, he's really good. He's really good, crazy drummer. And we had a lot of discussion with our producer Connie, because he would like to let us use a more modern drum kit. But we said no. Because Matthias is playing a Sonor drum kit from the 80s, so really most likely the same drum series Chris Witchhunter played in the 80s in Sodom. I think it's one of the same series as the Sonor drum set of the time. So we really used that his old drum kit. We wanted to have that sound, also that the really tough bass drum sound we have. That's no sample. That's the original Sonor bass drum. And with that good drum sound, and Connie, our producer, is, I would say, quite famous for making good drum sound, and he has proven it again on the record. That's the basis for everything, because when we have so many productions today with artificial sounds and unfortunately very often also a drum computer is actually playing. So that was clearly something we don't want to have. So we have that natural drum thing. And also how the other things are positioned. You have bands like today, which of course very great bands like Machine Head, with a very wide guitar sound dominating the whole stuff. And even I'm the guitarist, I didn't want to have that. I wanted to have everything a bit more balanced. I'm the only guitar player in the band. We are a 4-piece with a singer, so only one guitar. So I didn't want to sound like being 6 of myself. So of course you have the double guitar, but I really want to have a balanced sound between drums and bass and guitars, and of course giving the vocals enough room that you really can hear the hook lines, that you can listen to the lyrics. So, and I think Connie and also Annie Brings as vocal producer, they did really a great job on that. So that was our vision of the sound, to have a really balanced, natural sounding record, but still have power, but power not coming from some digital, synthetic, artificial stuff. So yeah, really natural stuff.
That's really cool, because those double bass drums really do a big kick to the mid section, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes, yeah. That was really the target. Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. It's like, okay, bullseye, you hit me right in the balls. You got me good. Definitely a real ripper for sure. I wanted to get back to that song called Feeding the Decline. How long did it take you guys to make that music video?
Honestly,
yeah,
I don't know how long Annie Brings, actually, the story behind that is we have recorded our show in last autumn we played, and actually we wanted to take the footage from that show and making a live clip to a studio sound, as we didn't had a proper audio recording there. So we had a camera team there, and we have some static cameras and some dynamic cameras, and feeding the decline. And that was really a bad strategy. Was the final, the last song actually. After we left the stage, audience was screaming for coming back. So that kind of game, and the camera team, they thought we are ready. So the only song we had not recorded was Feeling the Decline. So we had no footage to use. So actually we had then the idea, yeah, let's use some of the footage of the gig and let us fill up it, because where we have our rehearsal room in the first floor, there is a very nice club with the stage and professional lights. And we thought, hey, let's just do some additional shoots of each of us. And so actually two afternoons or 2.5 days, we had a shooting on that stage without audience, just one after the other, how you see it in the video. And Andy Brinks, who did the final cut, actually he started with putting the footage from the live gig together from the other songs, and starting to add some of the material we did afterwards. And then really quickly he came to the conclusion that it make much more sense to put that close-up parts together. We recorded afterwards, and that's the video clip at the end. So it was 2 days underneath our rehearsal room, and I don't know how long Annie brings, because there were a lot of fast cuts, and I don't know how long that take, and I don't want to know. And we are really happy with the result, because we thought that such a brutal, fast song, and the pictures should say the same, or should provide the same aggression to the guy who was listening and watching. And I think we achieved it, or Andy actually achieved it.
Yeah. Every time I listen to that song, I think of so many different bands like Overkill, Slayer, Sodom, Destruction, and there's a few others that I can't really think of right offhand. Exodus, I think, and a little bit of Sepultura, maybe some early Testament.
Great. Every example I really love. And Mark would add Dark Angel, what was a big influence to him as well. I'm actually a big Sodom guy. So the German one, Sodom Creator, also the Grip Incorporated was really one of my thrash metal faves in the 90s. So there's a lot of influence of them as well in the music, I guess. Yeah, so it's a mixture of all of them, what you have mentioned. So that's, it's in the blood. You cannot everything what you have discovered when you were a teenager, it's in the blood. You cannot avoid.
There's no escape from that at all. Once it's there for life, and you're just like, man, I'm stuck in a rut. No, you're not. You're stuck in metal.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's how it should be. So
have you guys shared any of this same stage with any of the bands that I mentioned?
Not Mark, of course, a lot with his former bands, because he's famous for being the singer of Morgoth, the German death metal band, very, very famous in the 90s. So he were on US tour with Creator and all that guys. With Deimos Dawn, we will have. So we are actually at the moment in negotiations, if you want to say. So everything is actually clear to share the stage with one of the famous German thrashers we have already mentioned in this year already. and I hope that that will happen. There are some things to fix, and yeah, but we will definitely, and we are working on that, and going on stage with those bands. So yeah, that's really the target.
That's really cool, because if you guys ever share the same stage with Destruction, give Schmier a big bear hug for me.
Of course, I will do. I will do. Definitely.
Yeah, he's one dude I've been trying to get a hold of on Facebook to interview, but he doesn't really respond too often. So I'm like, okay, I'll shelve this one for a while and I'll wait on it. See if
Okay.
somebody else can grab him by the boo boo and say, hey, man, this dude wants to interview you.
Yeah. I will
So,
remind him. Definitely.
I appreciate that. Thank you. What's your favorite thing about thrash metal music?
My favorite thing about that. So I'm more in the music than in the lyrics. I have to honestly say. So for me, the music is the most important thing. And it's the fast songs. I wouldn't like to listen to a record which is from the first to the last song has the same fast speed. So I like it very much when it is changing. But at the end, when I should mention some of my favorite songs, it would be the fast stuff. So I really like that of the instant speed. So of the thrash metal records. So this is actually what I love and what gets me all the time. So that's it. And I'm more a fan of the, let's say, darker voice. So I'm more with Tom Araya than with Joey Belladonna, for example. So I'm more in one of that type of voices, and the drumming. Thrash metal is for me a lot about drumming, and with the quality of the drumming starts everything. So that's where all the look at the big bands like Slayer. So they had Dave Lombardo, Paul Bostaph. So these are all the great guys, and I think that's when you play that kind of stuff, it's really important to play tight to be able to play that fast drumming. So that makes the really aggression, and that makes it brutal. So nothing against all that 90s black metal scene, but there were a lot of bands coming straight from the rehearsal room, and sometimes just my taste. Yeah, that's not, of course, everyone. I can see it like he wants, but for me, thrash metal has to be a bit precise how you have to play it, and then it's really hard. So everyone has to hit the one, so 1, 2, 3, and everyone has to be there at the same time. That's hard. Hit the thing at the same time, and then that is really aggression. And sometimes some of the hard fast stuff you hear in other music styles is a little bit like swimming in a pool. So and everything is around. So that's sometimes for me not really hard. It's loud. There's a lot of noise, but this is not hard. I think really tough, brutal stuff comes from being precise. So that's what I enjoy when I listen to that music.
That's a great way to put it, for sure. Because I play guitar too, and sometimes I'm like, do I want this note here? Or do I want it in another song? You know, because sometimes you'll play something and it might sound the same or it might look the same to somebody, but it's totally different.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the playing of the strings, whether it's a down pick or an up pick that people are looking at, but who knows?
Who knows? At the end, you have to do it. Yeah, just the guys have to play together, and sometimes it must not necessary to keep accurate on the same speed of the song. So you can accelerate and slowing down a little bit, but everyone has to do it together, and that's something where bands sometimes even when you see playing them live, where it is sometimes a little bit confusing how they perform. But in studio, unfortunately today, you can do everything today. So because there are so many ways to help the people, sometimes actually it's good because they are really useful things you can do and to help musicians to come to the point. But also sometimes it is making a lot of things the same because everyone is using the same tools. Everyone is correcting the things artificially what he has done, and I think that is it's not good for the for being individual. You hear the same drum samples, you hear very often the same guitar sounds, and a lot of the stuff you and me like, what we grew up with, a lot of the stuff started because of trying, because they don't know how to do the things, and then they try it with guitar sounds. They had no proper amps, they couldn't buy or they couldn't afford to buy or however, and then they had a lot of improvisation and they don't know how to play these fast songs and then find their ways around, and they find ways to make it sound good, and that's how really new stuff appears. And that's today when everyone is just using the tools and software and the sounds of you can just buy in the internet. It's really difficult, I think, for young musicians to find their own sound and to create really something new. Yeah.
What type of guitar strings do you like to use? I use Ernie Ball Cobalt Slinkies.
Playing a Schecter guitar.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
That's the one I'm using currently since this year, but actually the album was recorded with this one here. That's a Hamer guitar. At the time, when Hamer was a great brand, I think today Hamer is a bit of a cheap brand, but in the 90s, and I bought that in 97, I think that's a Hamer Californian. I think that was a Wolf Hoffman signature guitar in the 80s or in the end of 90s. So I love this one really much, and I use this one, and as well
you kept that
Hamer. I have this one also, a Hamer arch top.
Wow.
With Seymour Duncan pickups. Yeah, here is
it. That's nice and shiny.
Yes, it's just black finish, and yeah, I like this one as well. And actually, the record I have recorded with the two Hamer guitars, with that passive Seymour Duncan pickups, and I will. Let's see for the next record. Maybe I use the Schecter with the active pickups, because on stage that I'm really playing that guitar at the moment, and it makes a lot of fun and is really handling very well, and the sound of that active pickups is really precise. I've never used in my life before, so I was always always working with passive pickups, but first now I try the active ones. I say, works. Yeah.
You kept those Hamer guitars in really great shape, and I haven't seen a Hamer guitar in years.
Yeah. But I've really the red one, as I said, I bought it in '97, and I played it from that moment until today. So it's really I changed the pickup during the years, but at the end I really love it, and it plays really good. And our bass player Matze, he's actually the technic guy, so he's a great help to keep all the technical stuff alive that we use in the band. So he's doing it on a professional side, and he's really great. And a great help to set up all the instruments.
That's really awesome, dude. I've got 3 guitars myself that are electric. I got a 6-string BC Rich Carey King Warlock. Then I got an Ibanez GRG 7221. That's my
Cool.
7-string. Then I got my Ibanez RG8, which is an 8-string.
Oh, okay. I've never tried it.
It's kind of floppy actually, because you got that F string as the lowest string, and it's real deep sounding, kind of guttural. Kind of like a deep guttural growl, kind of like a. And you're like, whoa, man, where do you find strings for this thing? Go to
Yeah.
Amazon. Amazon sells everything, but it doesn't replace a bass, even though it does sound a bit bassy in some spots, the 8-string.
When you play your guitar riffs, is it based on that really low string, a guitar riff, or is it just a kind of, do you use it as a kind of effect, let's say?
I would say that I would use it for certain songs that I've written, like my song called Bloodshed of the Fallen. I actually used my 8-string for it, but not a 6-string, because I figured it would add a lot more notes to it, plus it would sound a lot more where I'm going with it, basically, because it involves actual singing, then it involves a lot of screaming as well. So it's a kind of mixture of thrash metal and hardcore in
Yeah,
that song. A little bit
cool.
of death
Great,
metal. So
great.
I like
I
to
have
switch to the listener.
I have to try that one time. Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you're ever
Great.
over here in the state of Georgia and you're in town here in Macon, I'll hook you up. Be like, hey man, try it out.
Okay.
It is pretty heavy though. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you lift that thing, it's about maybe 8 pounds or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty heavy guitar. It's
Yes.
fun.
Yeah.
I pick it up by the neck and I'm just like,
Ah,
what the hell's going on over here? I mean, that hammer guitar you showed me, the red one, that looks like it's pretty light in weight.
it's not. No, it's not heavy and it's not light. I think it's just, yeah, no, it's just normal. Also, I can't say that it is something special in terms of weight. It has a quite good body for me, so it really fits to my shape when I playing it in the position I have it quite medium low, I would say. So it just gives me a good, yeah, feeling. So I needed time to get used to the Schecter, as the position of the hand over the bridge is a little bit different. So I just need to get used to it. But as once I was used to it, it played really, 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 really nice. But I still in love with that hammer. So I for many years I didn't see any necessity to buy a new one. So that yeah, with the 2 hammers, I was actually quite happy for really long time. And I'm not so that I have to say I'm not so that experimental guy. So when I have something what works good for me, then I don't see any reason to change. So also my setup on stage. So I really try to keep everything as easy as possible, as simple as possible, that it makes no problems. That I, as I today, the only guitar player, I have to use some certain effects and for the solos and for the leads and stuff. But for a long time, I was only with my PV 5150 and a Crybaby baby War and nothing more. So that was really enough that I just have to push the Crybaby when I need to use it. But today I need a little bit more to have that delay and that stuff. Sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. I mean, with me, I just use standard distortion from the amp that I've got. It's a Line 6 Spider 2 effects amp. So that's all you really need, really.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I mean, you got these guys that got these mega pedal boards with like maybe 50 to 60 different pedals. I'm like, is that really necessary? You got OCD or some shit going on in there?
I
Well,
think if you would ask, they would explain you that it is necessary.
yeah.
And I have to say, one year ago, I started to build a pedal board for myself, also with a lot of different delay effects for different channels and everything. And I made actually a good plan before I bought and combined all that small effects. But at the end, I didn't use it. So I will sell all the stuff because just a lot of wiring, a lot of things which don't work, and then the contact does not work here, and you look at it and say, where's the problem? Noise. So I said, no, that's too much. That's too much.
Have you ever been on stage and hit the wrong pedal?
Of course, very often. Not only one time. Hopefully you notice that you hit the wrong pedal. Sometimes the monitor sound is so bad that you don't recognize it and just continue with some weird sound. But sometimes I hit the wrong pedal. Sometimes I forgot to hit the pedal on the right time, and I think, oh, I'm on the far wrong end of the stage. I should be over there because in 2 seconds the guitar solo starts, or the clean part, and I'm 10 meters away. That happens from time to time. So, but yeah,
I figured I would ask just because I've never asked that before. It's just an off-the-wall question, but at the same time, it's actually a pretty good question.
Yeah. So what I really appreciate, I'm playing completely wireless on stage. So for really many years, I used the cable and said, because it's better and better sound and too complicated and too much potential problems with the radio stuff. But now I'm using it since a while, and it gives me so much freedom on the stage, and there's no bondage experience with wiring around yourself when you getting in trouble with your own cable. So I'm really happy doing it, but because of that, I can use the stage so free that it's really happened that I'm from time to time I'm on the wrong place. But
yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, I do singing myself, and I also play guitar. But there's times where I'm just like, should I be over here? Should I be in front of the people, or should I be in the back by the drums?
Yeah.
I don't know. But when you go wireless, you could be anywhere, really.
Yes.
You can jump in the crowd and keep on jamming and just crowd surf all night and play your guitar.
Yeah.
No, that'd be interesting if somebody actually tried doing that. But I've only got a few minutes here left with you, Andy. Got a couple more questions for you. You guys have any upcoming shows?
Yes, we have some. We had by some personal reasons of one of our members, we had to shift our record release party. So we will do that hopefully this summer. So date has to be announced. And then unfortunately we had some festivals in summer in Germany that got cancelled. Not we got cancelled, the whole open air got cancelled. So we really have to make our pick up new shows for the second half of the year now. Because with that increased costs for everything after COVID, some of the open airs here in Germany, they simply gave up, unfortunately. So we have already good interest shows also with the album now, because our first album, it was a bit booking shows before the album got released was a bit difficult. So we will play that year. So as soon as we have that support shows for the big guys, as soon that is finished, then of course we will announce it. And we want to play definitely a lot of shows in the second half of the year, and next year is much better as we are now in the booking phase for 24. Yeah,
that's awesome. What would you like to say to your fans that are out there?
What? Pardon? Sorry.
What would you like to say to your fans
what I want to say to the fans.
Yeah, people that enjoy your music.
Yeah, yeah. I hope they will. So for real thrash metal fans, guys, give it a chance. Listen to it. Turn the volume to 11. So I think that's the right thing, and it should hit the balls of everyone like it hits your balls, Al. So
I
that's what
totally
I would like to
understand.
see.
Well, my last question for you, Andy, is this one. Do you have any last words for Underground Noise Webzine?
Some last words, yeah. Yeah, thank you guys. That is a great show, and it's a pleasure to for being here. And of course, I would like to yeah, come back very soon. And very important, I will remind Schmier that he has to do an interview on your channel. So
Yeah.
that's
And a
quite
big bear
important. So
hug, too. You can't forget the bear hugs. I mean, Pepper Keenan from Corrosion and Conformity did that to me back in 06.
Oh,
Yeah, he
great.
picked me up after he jumped off the tour bus because we were outside the tour bus, me and my friends. We were chanting COC over and over. So he jumps off the tour bus, picks me up, and I'm looking at him like, "Hey, Pepper." He looks at me, he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Put me down, dude. No chick." He's like, "Sorry, dude." I'm like,
Great.
"Dude, what the hell, man? That doesn't happen on a daily basis." But if it were to, I would definitely accept a hug from another band member. Why not? You know? Nothing wrong with
Cool.
that.
Great.
But Andy, I'd like to tell you thanks for your time today, man. It's been a blast.
Was a great pleasure. Was a great pleasure. So welcome, Al, and yeah, thank you for inviting to your show. It was really great, really great.
Yeah, I'll definitely have you guys again sometime. Keep on shredding, brother.
See you soon.
Sounds good.